Assalamualaikum students. In this session we are going to talk about that how many kinds of adjectives are present and a little bit detail of each of the kinds of adjectives. For the how many kinds of adjectives are there? There are many kinds of adjective, but there are 8 kinds of adjective present here. The first one is descriptive adjective. The second one, quantitative adjective. Number 3, demonstrative adjectives. 4th, attributive adjectives. 5th, predicative adjectives. 6th, proper adjectives. 7th, interrogative adjectives. And 8th, distributive adjectives. Okay students, we are going to look into some detail of the kinds of adjective. So first of all, descriptive adjectives. What are descriptive adjectives? For this definition, they describe how a person looks, smells, sounds, feels or tastes, etc. For example, cool, blue. We can use the word cool to describe a person, that the boy is cool. Or we can describe the kind of shirt he's wearing, like he is wearing a blue shirt. We can describe the taste of a dish. For example, that dish is delicious, or French fries are delicious. Or we can express as that perfume smells divine. Now moving on to the second one, the quantitative adjectives. What are the quantitative adjectives? They describe a number before the nouns. For example, several, 1. It can describe that there are several soldiers standing there, or there is one soldier standing there. So the adjectives which describes that how many the persons are there, they are the quantitative adjectives. Now moving on to the next kind, demonstrative adjectives. Demonstrative adjectives are the adjective which tells that which ones are the demonstrative adjectives. For example, this, that, these, those. They mention a person or a thing from a distance. Like if that thing is near, we will mention this or these. This is mentioned for the singular and these are mentioned for the plural nouns or pronouns. That is mentioned for the things that are far, a person that are far away. And for the singular, we use that, and for the plural, we use those. Now moving on to the next kind, which is attributive adjectives. Attributive adjectives are the ones that comes before the noun which they describes. For example, funny, insecure. If we mention that clown is funny, he is a funny clown. So in this sentence, the word funny comes before the noun clown which it describes. Like if I mention another example, like he is an insecure person. The insecure is describing the person, it comes before the noun. Okay, now students, we are going to talk about some more detail of the more kinds of adjectives. Earlier I have mentioned the attributive adjectives, whose example was funny and insecure as well. But I have mentioned that in attributive adjective, the attributive adjectives comes before the noun they describe. And in the case of predicative adjectives, they comes after a linking verb. They describes the subject of the sentence. For example, the clown was funny. In this sentence, was is a linking verb, and after that, funny comes, which describes the noun clown. Now we are going to talk about the proper adjectives. The adjectives which are made from, I have talked about the formation of adjective, that adjectives can be formed from nouns. So these nouns can be proper nouns or common nouns. So the adjectives that form from the proper nouns are called the proper adjectives. They describes the nationality, regional affirmatives, affiliation, regional affiliation or culture. and they are always capitalized in the sentence. Either they come before in the starting of the sentence, either in the center of the sentence, either in the end of the sentence. These are always capitalized. For example, a French citizen or a Christian priest. French citizen describes the nationality. A Christian priest describes the regional affiliation. Now we are going to talk about the next kind of adjective, which is the interrogative adjectives. Interrogative adjectives, like other as part of speech, the interrogative forms induces the questions in the sentences. For example, whose? Whose keys are these? Now next kind of adjective is distributive adjective. Distributive adjectives, they are the words refer to each object or a number of a group. They are used with singular nouns and placed before the nouns. For example, each. And for the use of each, they suggest everyone. Every. For every, it suggests all but individually. Either. It implies one or each of the two options. If in a sentence two options are given, either it represents the one of the option. Neither, and in the case of neither, the two options are given in the sentence, but it is the sentence is neither implies to either of the options. For example, I gave the candy to each of the child. For the example of every, I have given the candy to every child. For the example of either, the two of the between the two of the boys, either will be selected for the competition or the final competition. For the example of neither, between the two boys, neither will be selected for the final competition. We have studied the kind of adjectives and their detail in this session. In this session, we have talked about descriptive adjectives, which are the adjectives that describes, or they are also called the adjectives of quality. Quantitative adjectives, these are adjectives which describes the numbers. They are also called the adjectives of quantity. Demonstrative adjectives tells exactly which ones are they are point out in the sentence, which are they are pointing out in a sentence. The attributive adjectives and the predicative adjectives, we are going to talk about these two, so there is no confusion between them. They describes the noun, but in the sentence they comes before the noun and they comes before the linking verb. And now we are going to talk about the proper adjectives. The proper adjectives are the adjectives which are formed from the proper nouns. They are always capitalized. They represent a nationality or regional affiliation. The interrogative adjectives, they induce a question in the sentence. Distributive adjectives, they mention each member of a group. They identifies each member of a group. For example, each, every, either, neither. That's it for this session. We are going to talk about the degrees of adjective in the next session. Stay tuned with us.